A very good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for being patient. I know a lot of you have been waiting for a bit or so. Thank you for patiently waiting for the session to start. Thank you for joining us for the second session of ShE-roes Unplugged, wherein you get a chance to connect with the e-commerce leaders, hear their journeys, their stories, and leverage their learnings and expertise. I'll start with a quick round of introductions for everyone who's joining us today. I am Pooja Kanwar. I am part of the corporate partnerships team at Aspire for Her, and I also lead the ShE-commerce community here. Also joining me today are my colleagues, Ruchita Tandon, Chief Growth Officer, Farisha, our Operations Manager, and Madhura, our founder and CEO of Aspire for Her. From Myntra, we have today Sonora Gaggar, Manager Human Capital, Hema Patricia, Senior Director Human Capital, who will be moderating today's session. And she will be in conversation with Nikita Prasad, co-founder and head of design at GIVA. And also we have some special guests joining us, Emma and Sonal, the sign language experts from our partner organization, who are here for the ease of our PWD community members joining us today. A warm welcome to all of you and to the entire audience joining us today for taking time out this afternoon to join us for this exciting session. So before we move forward, a couple of housekeeping rules I would like to let you know. So please keep yourself on mute and use the chat to maybe put your views, your questions. We have a team who's looking at your questions and we will keep on answering them. A couple of questions we will be able to answer in the end, but we'll keep an eye on the chat as well. We have a short poll in the entirety of the session. So do participate so that we know who are joining us and how are you enjoying the entire session as well. So to begin with, if Farisha, we could have the first poll, please. So there are two questions. If you could please scroll down and answer, it'll really help us understand the community that is joining us today. Just another second or so. Okay, so we have, I think the top two contenders are the women from college and a lot of emerging professionals. I think the percentage is almost equal who are joining us today. So we have a lot of, I think, freshers or maybe the young talent who is excited to be a part of the e-commerce industry. That is great. And yes, learning, upskilling, employment, internship, I think is one of the primary factors. So thank you so much for participating. So we do get, a bit of an idea of the intent of joining this session today. So now I know a lot of you have been a part of the ShE-commerce community for a while now. We are a 5,000 plus strong community in the past few months that we have been around. I'll just give, for the new members, I'll just give us some slight background about what the community is all about and what you can expect when you're a part of this community. So the ShE-commerce community is a collaborative effort between Myntra and Aspire for Her, which was launched in June earlier this year. Myntra, everyone is well aware of, on one of the leading, e-commerce portals for fashion, anything fashion, and that is Myntra for you. Aspire for Her, we are a community building organization and we've been around for the past 4 years. The entire intent is to, bring diversity at every level in the entirety. And also the aim is to have 1 million women in the workforce by year 2025. We are a 6 lakh plus strong member community. Thanks to all of you who are with us today. So when I talk about the ShE-commerce community, it is a platform that is dedicated to empowering women who are already in or who are aspiring to be a part of the e-commerce community in the industry. As we can already see, I have I think almost 45% of the attendees today are the women from college. So I do get the sense that a lot of you are interested to be a part of this community. What are the workings, inner workings? And that is the entire intent with which Myntra collaborated with us to create a community which will not only be there for, just employment opportunities. We want to go beyond that as well. A couple of things that we've done in the past couple of months since the time we've been around in June. The first program that we brought to the community is the Myntra Returnship Program, Phoenix 3.0, which was an immensely successful program with which we have 20 women returnees who are already a part of the Myntra system working on their internships as well. But like I mentioned, the intent is not only to be, an employment base that, okay, a community that you just come to look for employment. We want to add to your skills as well. We want to focus on holistic developments. So keeping that in mind, in the past few months, we've also had multiple sessions with the industry leaders like Neerja Ganesh, who was a TEDx speaker herself, who had a session for the community talking about resume building, confidence building at the same time. We also partnered with AWS to bring a certificate program on how to use generative AI in the e-commerce industry. Sharon Pius, the Chief Business Officer at Myntra, actually launched this program, the first session of ShE-commerce, ShE-roes Unplugged, in fact. The entire aim of this session is to actually give a platform for all of us to leverage the insights of all these leaders in the industry. And gracing us today with the second session is for ShE-roes Unplugged Session 2 is Nikita Prasad, who is co-founder and head of design at GIVA. A small background, GIVA is a Bangalore-based startup which was launched in 2019. They specialize in affordable fine jewelry with a wide array of contemporary designs. Nikita herself is a graduate of the National Institute of Technology, NIFT, and she brings with herself an extensive experience working in various jewelry houses. And with that expertise, which she has applied to GIVA, she has emerged as GIVA is emerging as one of the leading brands in the Indian silver jewelry market. She has been recognized as being the best creative entrepreneur. Nikita is passionate about integrating aesthetics into every aspect of the brand, from designing new collections to creating engaging retail experiences as well. Nikita thrives on creativity, collaborating with her team to enhance e-commerce and craft captivating displays that resonate with the customers. Today at GIVA, they're not just making jewelry, they are curating an experience that celebrates artistry and craftsmanship as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, Nikita. And today in conversation will be Hema Pajisia, the Senior Director, Human Capital. She's asked me not to give an introduction because she's a constant in on all of these sessions. So over to you, Hema.
Thanks a lot, Pooja. Thanks a lot to everyone who has joined the session today. But a huge round of applause and appreciation for Nikita to take out time from a busy schedule and come and be a part of ShE-commerce community, because I think I was telling Nikita in the morning today that we need more of Nikitas to come and help us to build a community where women support women and we take each other forward. So first of all, thanks a lot, Nikita. And to everybody who has taken out time, and I am very happy to see few male allies also who have joined the call, right? While the conversation today will be really around Nikita's journey, about entrepreneurship, about how she has built a brand for herself, and some learnings for everybody on the call, right? Whether you're an aspiring professional, whether you're a student, whether you're a returning woman, or for that matter, even a male colleague, right? There's something for everyone in the session. So actually, first, everybody who's attended the call, thanks a lot for taking out time, and hopefully you will find this session meaningful, and do share your feedback at the end of the session. And try and stay till the end of the session, because we have some exciting stuff to announce. But for hearing that and exciting stuff, you have to attend the full session, right? Now, without wasting much time, I'll start this conversation with Nikita. And I think any session we should start with a little bit of fun, right? Which allows us to get to know Nikita a little better before we jump into the more serious questions. So I'm going to ask some very, very, very difficult questions to Nikita, and I will put her on a spot, and let's see how she fares in this rapid fire. It's going to be more complex than Karan Johar's, Coffee with Karan. But Nikita, all
Wow.
the best.
Thanks, Hema. Thanks for starting with such a warm welcome and then putting me on the spot. This is turning out to be very exciting.
Awesome. So Nikita, if your career were to be turned into a movie, right? Who would play you, and what would be the title of that movie?
Hmm. Uh, so the first person comes in my mind is Anushka Sharma. Maybe also because she has been the face of our brand for such a long time.
True.
So yeah, and I've met her in our shoots and everything, and I just feel that she has that vibe of, every woman of today. So it's going to be Anushka Sharma, and the title of the movie is going to be Unstoppable, because I think that's what women today are.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nikita. Anushka Sharma fans, please give us hearts. And let me see how many Anushka Sharma fans are there on the call today. And let's see how many hearts keep coming. Thanks, Nikita. I love the suggestion of, unstoppable. I think applies to, like you said, to most women out there. And you can go back, Nikita, when you meet Anushka next. She has a lot of fans. She stopped coming into movies. You can encourage her. She needs to come back to
Yeah, maybe I can pitch this, and she has a very good cause to, come again on the screen.
Absolutely. Okay. The next question is, if you could time travel to an era to explore its jewelry brands, right? Where would you go?
Hmm. So I think I would go back to the Mughal era, where, I think if we look back at the jewelry history, there are still a lot of heritage jewelry that was made in that era, and it is still a legacy. So a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to get inspired from. Yeah.
Absolutely. My understanding of Mughal era beyond the history books is Mughal Azam and I don't know, the Joda Akbar, that kind of a
Yes,
era,
yes,
right?
yes.
So pretty inspiring.
Right.
The next question is, what's your favorite way to unwind after a long day? Like, what does Nikita enjoy the most?
Okay, so the favorite way on any time is to play with my pets. So I have two pets, and I look forward to go home to just go and hug them and play with them all the time. That is the only thing that I can say.
And what pets do you have? Like a dog or a
I
cat?
have two dogs. I have two dogs.
And
Their
what are
name is
their names?
Magic and Muggle. Magic and Muggle. Magic is a
Awesome
female.
names.
Yeah, I'm a Potterhead. So that's how the
Brilliant.
name came.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many Potterheads in the call? Let's see. I want to see more hearts coming. How many Potterheads do we have on the call today? Thanks, Nikita. The next question is, what's the most unusual thing, right, in which you have found an inspiration for a jewelry design?
Hmm. So the most unusual thing was actually when I was doing my graduation project, and I had to design one collection, and I took inspiration from some hormones. So specifically, I took oxytocin, which is called as love hormone, and I designed a pendant. And actually, it was a line, but there was this one hero product in that where it was like a capsule, and it had the engraving of oxytocin love hormone on it, and just one red stone. And the unique feature about it was you could open it like a capsule, and you can put a love note inside it, and you can give it to your to your lover. So I think that was the
Brilliant. Is that line
most.
still available on Jiva if anybody wants to go and shop for it today?
Oh
Right.
no, unfortunately it's not. It was not for Jiva. It was done when I was doing my graduation
But
project for
you can
another
always
company.
introduce it back in Jiva, right?
I think it's going to be a hit for Valentine's, which is just around
Yeah,
the
yeah,
corner.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Nikita. The last question is, if one of your pieces could give the wearer a superpower, what would it be and why?
Hmm. So one of my pieces, it could be anything, it could be a pendant or anything, but I think one superpower that I always wished I had was reading people's mind. So I would want that pendant to have that feature.
Brilliant. Great. Thanks, Nikita. I think some fun questions, and I have to admit you have done a fairly good job. The audience here will feel we had already leaked the cheat sheet to you. We didn't. Nikita is a pro. So I think your next step is clearly Karan Johar's couch, because I don't really have that cooler hamper, but I can assure you of a great session that follows.
Oh, that's what I'm looking forward to.
No, and to the audience over here, please keep sharing your, your thoughts, your comments. It need not always be a question. It is something you like, just thumbs up. It helps us to engage, more positively. So please keep the comments and engagements up. Great. So, Nikita, now diving into the subject or the session, I would actually want you to share with our audience a little bit about your personal journey, right? Who is Nikita, right? What were growing up years for you at home, school, etc., so that it helps us understand the journey that you have made so far. Yeah.
Okay. I always love sharing about myself. I'm quite a self-centered person. So, growing up, I would say I was a very shy kid, and I used to be very, what do you say? Very average student when it comes to studies. But I was always all in for, any extracurricular activities, like be it, dance, or be it drawings, or anything like that. So also, just to, give a little more about my background, I am from Orissa. I belong to a tier 2 city called Rourkela. It is also called a steel city of India. So I grew up there, and I've also, studied in UP for some time because my nani ghar was there. So I was there for a few years. So I have experience of both, Orissa and UP. And it really helped me a lot in becoming, finding the right way to fit in. Because, when you're growing up and you change places, it really, you have no option other than, opening yourself and making new friends. So, as a kid, I had no option to start making new friends wherever I go. So I have a lot of childhood friends that are in touch with me till today. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I was a very average student in studies, but drawing and participating in school curriculums was always my go-to thing. And I would also that one thing that I was very self-reliant, because my mom, the credit goes to my mom. She was very after a certain stage, like when I reached standard 1 or 2, she stopped, waking me up in the morning for going to the school. If I do not wake up, I do not go to school. So that was kind of a punishment, but that made me very self-reliant growing up. So yeah, I think my mom has been a great teacher for me. I always give credit to my mom for whatever I am today. So yeah, that is a little bit about my personal self.
Great to know you, Nikita, in your personal journey. And I don't think people will not know Rourkela. I come from Calcutta, so obviously I know Rourkela, I know Odisha and Steel City of India. But good to know about your background and inspiration you derive from your mom. Thanks for really sharing that. And Also, what I also like is, often in India, because obviously in India, in anywhere, education is very, very important. And often parents put a lot of pressure on children, right, to excel in
Hmm.
studies. It's
Hmm.
very heartening to know that everybody has their own talent, right? Which may not always be just academics that we often tend to put a lot of pressure on, right? For you,
Hmm.
for example, you are far more creative, right? And you find your passion in something which I'm sure in growing up years, your parents may have thought. So, admitting, and thank you for admitting that you were, average in start. It takes a lot of guts to come back and say, and also to give inspiration to those on the call that you need not only think of academics as the only way to grow in your career. The alternate channels available.
Exactly.
So
Hmm.
thanks for sharing,
Yeah.
Nikita. I'm sure it will inspire a lot of people on the call. Which is a good segue into the next question, right? What steps did you take, right, to discover that your heart lies in, doing something which is in the creative field, and pursuing that for yourself in your career?
Hmm. Okay. So, the step that I took to actually, realize and pursue my talent was I kept doing what I love. I mean, as a kid also, I used to study, but then my heart was always into doing something like, creating a drawing or doing some DIY thing. So, I think, again, here credit goes to my parents also, who gave me that liberty that I could, spend a lot of time doing what I love. But of course, having study, focusing on study was also one thing. But I mean, I never, kind of tried to get away from studies also. I kept doing whether I was good at it or not. And then I always used to find time for things that I used to love. Like, children are like that, no? And they would, like, I would finish my homework so that I can, then pick up my drawing board. I used to finish up my homework just for the sake of it, be it correct or wrong. And I used to get a lot of punishment also in my class for doing the math in the wrong way. But but yeah, I used to look forward to my, drawing classes where and I was very vocal about it. I mean, I used to do whatever on the drawing board I used to, and I used to show at least 10 people. I was very vocal about it. Okay. So I think that, where, you can understand that a girl is not great in studies, where, everyone is judging a kid based on their grades. Okay. So I found that, okay, my drawings are something that gives me, credit. So I used to hide my scores and I used to show my drawings to everyone. So I just think that, you just have to show what you've got. And that's when, people will start recognizing you for that. And that I understood very early in my life, that, if you are able to show what you've got, and I mean, not try to just impress someone because everyone else is doing that. That is something that really helped me growing up. And again, I mean, as someone who was into the creative side, it was also very difficult, like when I grew up and when the right time came where I had to really choose my career. At that time, because of the lack of awareness around the creative field, I actually wasted some time pursuing something which I was not great at. So, like for example, when I finished my 12th, I joined BSc. I mean, I did not really got into the design field, although I knew that I want to become a designer as a, like, it was my dream. But I never pursued it because I had zero, exposure to it. I did not know what NIFT is. I did not know what NID or any of these big colleges are. All I knew was IIT and AIMS and all these things, and that is what people used to tell a student who was in school. So I think thoda, I mean, at that point of time I wish that I had a little more exposure towards that. But I mean, sooner or later I anyways ended up into the design college, which was after a series of things that I did in my life. So I dropped BSc. I was doing BSc in zoology after I passed 12th. And then when I was doing it, I was very sure that I'm not going to end up anywhere doing this because I know I'm not good at it. Uh, I mean, I just knew in my heart that if I want to become a professional in something, this is not my thing. I cannot really. I mean, I am a big believer of, if you cannot teach someone else about what you are doing, then maybe you need to rethink what you are doing, right? That never happened when in terms of, when I was doing zoology. I never had that confidence in me where I could proudly say, I've done this, did this research, because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. So that's when, I somehow came to know about NIFT, and then I thought, it really clicked me. Okay, this is what I want to do, and I immediately took that decision. I went against my, I mean, some of my family members were not supportive. In fact, my dad was very disappointed with that decision. But I mean, there were a lot of people who also supported me for NIFT, and that was my first step towards, my career that I really wanted to pursue, and I stood by that, and anyways went to NIFT. And today I can say that my dad is the person who keeps talking about it to everyone. I mean, he is the most proud person that I know. So I think that is one thing that I did at that time. So I mean, if you have to take a takeaway from here, just pursue, know that what you are good at, and you keep pursuing it, and you have to be your own believer. Matlab, people will always doubt you. Okay. I mean, not always, but in such cases, people will keep doubting you, but you have to really understand what you really can do. You should not live to impress others, or, understand, I mean, live by someone else's ideology.
Brilliant. I think thanks a lot, Nikita. And especially my biggest takeaways is if you can't teach somebody what you enjoy, it's actually a good way for us to, and especially for people who are starting, even if you're starting your career or education, right? It's such a good way to evaluate whether you're in the right stream or you're doing the right thing, right? If you can't explain or you can't teach it to someone. So, and thanks for being so honest about the fact that you dropped off, right? Because you just felt it doesn't appeal to what you want to do, and there's no stigma attached to it because you took a punt, you experimented, you heard, you listened like a good. Most of us, and I will generalize over here, Indians, we always listen to our parents and we start with what they want. So one good thing is you did that, but then you figured out, and then your parents supported you as you chose to go take an alternate path. So big shout out to your parents also, right? And for those of people on the call who are parents, good learning for us. But thanks for sharing, Nikita. The next question is actually around what you've kind of already addressed, but I'll still want to ask. Uh, we don't see a lot of women picking up entrepreneurship as as a career, right? While I do see that change happening slightly with, you, Nikita, being one of them, right? Uh, uh, One of the reasons is possibly the ecosystem, the way it is set up, right? It doesn't always support or encourage women doing entrepreneurship. Did you face any challenge? If you could summarize briefly, and how did you go about it? First of all, do you agree? And second, if you do, then what did you do differently?
Okay. Yes, Hema, I think I do agree. First of all, we as a girl growing up in this country where, at least in my family, I was always given this ultimatum that, uh, you have to study. Like I said, that I dropped zoology, so it was a big deal. The bigger deal, the biggest concern for my family was that, okay, if you're going to drop now, when are you going to finish your career, and when are you going to get married? Okay, that was one of the biggest thing. Forget about having the dream of becoming an entrepreneur or starting something of your own. The biggest hurdle starts the moment a girl passes class 12, or if the parents are a little more supportive, they will let you do your bachelor's, and then they are like, okay, now you get married and get settled. Although I am a biggest supporter of, what it is, a woman's choice. I mean, I have a lot of cousins in my home who actually got married after that, and they are also happy, and they are also doing something. So it is, I think, people do not know how to keep that separate. Ki, okay, I mean, settling down with a life partner is one thing, but having the goal is also something. These are not together. They do not go. I mean, both are important. That is something people need to really understand, right? So, first of all, that hurdle came into my life, and I somehow, I mean, it was not easy. I mean, uh, I think for 10 years, I have been telling no to my parents that no, I'm not ready to settle down in my, with a life partner. That was one separate game altogether. And now coming to the career thing, where I said that, I mean, I found my passion late in my life. I mean, I as a career. So for that, it was. I don't think it would have been, I mean, people can really tell you that, okay, they will support you, but ultimately you will have to listen to your calling. So, so what happened? I mean, after I finished my college, and I really got into I mean, I started doing my job as a designer. I wanted to have my own label. Okay. And I think it was my calling when I started GIVA, when I met the founder, Ishendra, and and we discussed our ideas together. So I think one thing that women should do is, talk what's going on in your mind. Okay, don't settle for something less. Don't just think कि, okay, अभी मुझे job मिल गई है, that is fine. Don't play that safe game. Okay. And just, I mean, I cannot emphasize enough on this, that, breaking that stereotype that, this is enough. Okay. Don't settle for something which is, I mean, which you have done was possible. That's why you have done. So now it's just keep upgrading your goals. Okay. And in this case, I would not say that entrepreneurship is the only thing that a girl can do. There are million of things that are still there, that are, bigger than entrepreneurship. For me, entrepreneurship is big. For someone else, something else would be bigger. So I just say that, you have to really keep upgrading your goals from time to time. And I mean, please keep discussing, keep networking, keep talking about it. to others, so that you will find that way out. If I had kept this in my mind, ki, okay, I want to, have my own brand. Like, I never thought that I will become an entrepreneur. I wanted to have, as a designer, I wanted to have my own label. Okay. And I would have sat with that thought, or maybe opened my own boutique one day. But if I had settled for that, then I would not have made a brand which would be one of the fastest growing silver jewelry brand in India, right? So if I had limited that to that stage, and I had not really, trusted the other person that I met, and taken that risk at the right time, then it would not have happened. So I would say ki all the challenges are very small. If you are very, if you are very attached to your dreams, and if you are ready to, take that step ahead, it is just about one step that you have to take.
Again, very, very inspirational, Nikita. And when you were speaking, it reminded me of one of my favorite songs. I don't know how many of the people on the call know it. If You Believe. If you haven't heard that song, please go ahead and hear. It summarizes exactly what Nikita's just mentioned. So it's a song by Patch Crow and If You Believe. Okay, because I think it all starts from a belief. It's self-belief. And then if you have self-belief, you can move mountains. Thanks a lot for that, Nikita. And I think it is, while it is gender agnostic, but I do agree with a lot of what you said, right? For women, it's slightly more difficult because of the mindset and the ecosystem where we come from. And we need more role models like you, Nikita, who have really, and I'm sure many in your family must be inspired looking at you. And your parents must be probably quoting your name, and your relatives must be quoting your name. Look at Nikita, become like Nikita. So we need more of that. So thank you so much, Nikita, for that. Uh, Now, my next question, Nikita, is really about uh, just getting a little bit of inspiration from your entrepreneurship journey, right? Especially because it's far more riskier, I would say, than corporate jobs. Let's be honest. There's a lot of, you're running your own business, right? And with very less fallback options. Can you share with us any example where you experimented with something, right? And it didn't work out? I wouldn't say failed, because I think every time you experiment, you learn something through the process. It's not really a failure.
That's
But
true.
where it didn't work out in the way you expected it to be, how did you deal with it and how did you move forward?
So, I mean, it happens every other day, Hema. In our journey, this is happening. So one example would be that we started another sub brand in GIVA. It was called Avni by GIVA, and we started it just almost a year, or 1.5 years after we started GIVA. And because GIVA became, we were fortunate enough that GIVA started gaining recognition very early, like as soon as we launched. After a year or so, we were in all the marketplaces, and with help of all the right things that we did, so we were very confident that, okay, Avni would also become a hit. And we actually invested a lot. We did the whole, the logo, the branding, and we had its separate social media page. So it was like we made another brand, and that too, right 1.5 years after we have just started another startup. So you can imagine that, the kind of effort and the kind of, the risk that we took at that point. And ultimately, we had to shut it down after a year. And that really left us, questioning us that, okay, why did this happen? And it created a lot of self-doubt that, okay, if this has failed, then how are we going to, now recover everything that has happened? So, but we had no other option. And thanks to the team and the stakeholders who actually supported us at that time also. And we were able to, move on, because ultimately you don't have any other option. And then we decided that, okay, now we need to focus on the one thing, the main thing, which is our, the OG brand Jiva. And we kept focusing on it. And Avni is now a small collection in Jiva, but that is one of the biggest failures that I could say, which is more relatable for the audience here. That sometimes you can be a winner in one thing and in a very similar thing. Here, there also we created a brand Jiva, which became one of the fastest growing brand in India. And then there was another brand which was created and it died and no one knows about it. So that is how it is going to be. When you are doing something big, you will start your other projects, and they will fail. One more example is, we launch at least 6 jewelry collections in a year, at least 6. And I cannot tell you the pressure that we have every time we launch this, and this happens every 2 months. Okay. And we anticipate it, and we are like, okay, if this is going to work out or not. Of course, out of those 6, some of them fail. They do not do great. So imagine the kind of, demotivation that comes in the designer and in everyone who has put in all the efforts into that. But the only thing that I say, which you also mentioned, Nehima, that we learn from it, and then we, move on, taking that as a learning, and trying not to repeat it. And sometimes your failures also, I mean, when you're doing something, it might work sometime, and the same thing will not work in another scenario. So it is really, I mean, a very tricky thing. But the only thing is that you should always keep going on. I mean, falling is not bad, but not being able to get up is something that really, is the failure.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for sharing, Nikita, and some really honest examples. I think that's very, very important for anybody on the call, right? It's very easy for us to talk about everything that's worked fine, and it has. That's why GIVA is where it is. But I'm sure the journey would have been difficult. So really, thank you for sharing that. Moving on to the next section. Uh, for somebody who's starting a career, right, especially in a creative field, or any other field for that matter, what do you think are the essentials, skills that someone needs to possess, or a mindset or behavior, or anything that you would advise, especially given a lot of audience on the call come from college who may be thinking of what careers to choose, which organizations to join for that matter, right? So what are some of the things or tips that you will give, you believe are essential for somebody to start in any field?
In any field or in a creative field?
Any field, and then creative also will be more specific to creative. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I think I think this. So one thing that when we interview is one thing that we see, that skills can be learned. Okay, by hook or crook, people can learn skills. Okay, be it great at Excel, or be it in our terms, you can learn a software. You now AI it has come into the picture, and everyone can learn that. But one thing that is very important is also the soft skills. Okay, so the talent of communicating and communicating your ideas, putting out there, is very, very important in any field. First of all, that becomes a very important part in cracking an interview itself, right? Um and apart from that, having the correct value system. Okay, so when you are going to an organization, if your values are not aligned with the organization, and that's why I keep saying that there are no good or bad candidates. It's just that you have to find the right fit. Right, so if culturally your values are not aligned with that organization's culture, then you both are not for each other. So that is one thing that is very important when it comes to hiring for us. And apart from that, in the creative field, I think, sorry, again, in a generic manner, it is also the skill of learning new things. Okay, you can apply for a role of, say, a designer, but if you do not know how to really present your designs, if you and if you're not willing to help the brand, because as a designer you are the one who knows what thought goes into it, and if you're not able to communicate it with the other department, say branding, who has to actually brand it, who has to show it to the world, if you are not able to work with the branding, with the marketing, then just being a designer does not really will not take you where I mean will not take you where you should be, right? So that is one thing. And in creative field, like talking about other skills, it could be whichever creative field you are in, be it in content creation, or be it a jewelry designer and apparel designer. It is very important that you keep on you keep exploring what is going on in the market, because it is a very fast growing time, especially with AI coming into the picture. I think upgrading yourself is very, very important. And AI designers has become a thing. So that is one great platform where you should look for opportunities. And I mean, there lies such a huge opportunity in this creative field. I mean, you can talk. I mean, there are jobs like script writer. There are branding agencies. There are content creations. The social media team itself is so different than your designers and the creative team who is actually working on the banners. So I mean, it is a huge field. If you pick up one organization, there only you will find so many creative people, but all of them have their own, they have their own domain, and becoming an expert into that. Your goal should be to become an expert of whatever you are doing. If you are a jewelry designer, become an expert about it, know everything about it. If you are a apparel designer, know everything about fashion, know what's going on here or globally. So being very aware of your field, and I'm sure this is true for any other profession, be it creative or non-creative, that you should be aware of what's going on, not only in your region, but globally. Because I mean, today gone are the days when you're only working in a nutshell. It is about keeping everything, being very aware, and that's how you can really make the best out of it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Nikita, for sharing very practical and real, tips in terms of how one can think about, skill development and career. Um, Now, for me, I'm going to ask you a question in terms of your career. Like, for example, you've started GIVA, right? And now you're scaling it to new heights. Uh, do you think it's important to have a longer term vision, whether it's for your business or for your career, right? And how does that shape or influence your day-to-day decisions?
Hmm. Yeah. So, yes, Hema. I mean, I think having a long-term vision is very important, and I think in most of the cases, your long-term vision will, keep you motivated for that. I mean, if you look at your short-term goals, uh, you will achieve them. It's easier to achieve your short-term goals, but you really need to look at your long-term goals, because at the end, what you're doing today, you have to decide whether you want to become a brand like Myntra, or whether you want to become a small business. And people will find happiness in both, right? It is an individual's choice. So that is very important, that what do you want to become that, or do you want to become this? So that long term goal has to be fixed, and then you plan that what you have to do for that long term goal, what you have to do today. So maybe you will have to take some hits today, and you should be okay with that. And so that ultimately ki theek hai, this is going to, for example, if I have to become I mean if I have to become an influencer, okay, so today I will have to take some crash courses or whatever, and I cannot just fast forward to become an influencer directly, right? I will have to do something today, which will take away some of my time, but ultimately when I become the influencer, I will be perfect in that. So that is one very small example that I can give. But having a long term goal, I think, is the only way to become, and it also defines your, I mean, it just puts everything into the place, right? I mean, you are not wasting your time into doing something which is not taking you towards your end goal. So for example, if we wanted to have a brand that was, and having a very clear long-term goal. It should not be that, okay, no, maybe I will create a bigger brand, maybe I will, make it a private label. So having that confusion is not correct. Have that clarity, and then only based on that you make your decisions today. And because it comes with a lot of other things that, having that in mind, you will connect with such people. Then because it's very important to discuss it with someone, connecting with people, learning the new skills towards that, right? So I think you should always have a long-term goal, and the short-term goals will lead you somewhere. But I mean, ultimately, what next, right? So be on the field for the bigger game, and not for the short ones.
Awesome. Thanks, Nikita. I think, again, very useful, I must say, and especially the fact that you have to think long term and you have to think big, right? Especially in e-commerce, right? I'm just sharing a tip, which is again very, very competitive, dynamic, and you know this better, Nikita, right? Everything is now media online. You usually joke, it's a very serious thing, but we say is joke. You think big or go home. Like, that's the only thing. There is nothing in between. You have to think,
Right.
or you can pack your bags and go home. I think
Yeah,
that's
because it
very,
has
very
the field is so competitive now. If you do not do what you are doing, thinking that in mind, then someone else will do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks, Nikita. Now I'm coming to questions more related to the creative field, right? And some of it you already addressed, right, around social media and some of the other stuff. But according to you, what emerging opportunities you generally see in creative field in general, right? And uh, so that audience in the call and us also can be more aware of, right? As somebody who is in the creative industry, what do you think are some of the interesting roles or skill sets that are coming up?
Hmm. So, I mean, in creative field, or be it any other, AI is the next big thing that is happening, and we cannot ignore that. So, becoming a designer, I mean, AI designer, we all know that there are AI influencers now, right? So that itself is such a creative thing, and managing that. This is just an example. So, AI is one space where you can really, try to get to know more about it, and also, instead of as a creative person, I think one thing that everyone is really worried about is that AI is going to take their jobs. But I think one very important thing to think here is that AI is ultimately being done. I mean, there is a person behind it, right? So you have to see AI as a support system and not as a technology that is going to take away, because ultimately it is you who is going to prompt it what to do. So that is one thing, and that is a great skill to have. Okay, like for example, if I'm writing a content, I and if I do not put the right prompts, so being an expert in putting those prompts is also going to give you the desired result. So ultimately, it is a man who's going to do that, right? And there are, I mean, of course, there are some other AI things that are not going to be really directly related to the man behind it. But yeah, that is one thing. And some of the other emerging things can be, like I said, social media, and social media is growing in every way, and it keeps changing. The algo keeps changing, so that itself is one field. And also becoming, the industry of content, uh, in terms of the movies and in terms of the ads agencies, that is one thing that I do not see a lot of people taking thinking of that as an opportunity, whereas there lies a huge sea of opportunities there. Yeah, and also, with all the wave of startup culture, if you can really put yourself out there as someone who can handle someone's all the creative need of a startup, so basically an agency. So that is also an agency which is very focused towards, helping someone to build their brand. And a lot of freelancers are doing that, and they get multiple, projects there. In fact, a lot of my friends, when I talk to them, they say that most of them are working as freelancers, and the most of the projects that they get is helping someone or the other to do their, packaging, to do their logo, to do their store. Retail space is one thing which is, another big thing where, there are endless malls coming up. I mean, if you look at Bangalore itself, wherever the development is happening, there is a huge mall coming up, and inside those malls are these retail stores which really need interior designers, who need communication designers, and a lot of creative thing happening. So I cannot say that how big this space and how much opportunity it holds.
Thanks, Nikita. One last question from my side. I'm conscious of time, but I wanted to pick up one question from one of the attendees, which I thought is very, very relevant. Is there is an person who's attending the call who says, I've always dreamt of becoming a designer since childhood, and I used to sketch jewelry designs as a hobby. However, I had to set it aside to focus on my studies. Now I'm pursuing my MBA. I would love to reignite this passion. Could you guide me on how to start building a career in design alongside MBA?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, thanks. That's a very good question. And it takes me to the time when I was in that kind of a position. So I can give you two tips here. One thing is what I did. I dropped everything and I pursued that as a career. But I'm sure that when you're doing MBA, you have invested a lot in that. So besides that, what you can really do is the most easiest thing to do is go to your YouTube tutorials and you will learn how to really make designs and start learning first and then start freelancing. So I will share very small example of myself when I was in college, and I did it as a passion where I wanted to learn a software called Corel Draw, and I was swamped with work in college and used to not get enough time for it. And what I did, and it kind of worked for me, I took up a project and I committed to it. And I had no other option but to learn it, and because I had to deliver it. So sometimes you will not do it for yourself, but when you have committed to someone, you will by hook or crook do it. And it might be not a great project. It might be a disappointment for the other one, but you will come out with a lot more knowledge in that subject. So just get put your foot into that and just go and start learning about it. It's very easy nowadays. You can, there are tutorials available on an academy, and you have so many other resources that really start. Uh, start training for it. Yeah, that is one thing. Also, having your own social media page. Start putting out your work. Like I said earlier, that start putting out your work. Be very vocal about what you are doing, and you will realize that there are so many people who will come in some in or the other way. They will guide you. So until unless you do not do it, you are not going to be able to. You will never be able to do it. Just start.
Thanks a lot, Nikita. I mean, this is so exciting that we can continue forever, but I'm just conscious of time. And I'm going to, so first of all, thanks a lot, Nikita. I think this was very, very inspiring to hear from you, the overall journey you had so far, and some very, very practical, realistic tips, and sharing your story in all honesty, right? There's so much hard work that goes behind everything that we do in life, but really the challenges that or the choices that you made, right? I'm pretty sure that it has influenced a lot of people on the call, and especially me. So thank you for taking out time. Thank you for taking out time and doing this, and a lot of exciting feedback I can already see. Some suggestions, we should next time call more and more colleges, design, etc. And depending on the interest, we will look forward to continuing the collaboration with you, Nikita. But Pooja, now should I hand over to you?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Nikita. A lot of what you said, I think it is a basic, but then that is something I think we should all abide by, irrespective of the fact whatever field we want to, pursue. But I think words that you've said that resonate, and one I think the most is to believe in yourself and be focused and try and be an expert. And I think being vocal, because most of us have ideas, but then we want to, we always are doubtful. But I think what you've said is to network and to talk about what your ideas are. And I think that really helps. And in today's time, AI definitely is coming out as one of the skill sets that all of us need to acquire. Again, the she-commerce community, already we did a session, but I think it gives us more ideas coming from you that is definitely a skill set that will be required maybe in this field. So something that we can always look about working on. So Hema, do you want to talk about the opportunities now? And then maybe in the end, I would request Madhura and Ruchita to also share a couple of views from their end as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
So
Nikita.
thanks a lot, Pooja.
Thank
So
you.
like I said, at the end of the session, we have a couple of exciting updates for everyone. First one is Nikita has been very kind enough to open up GIVA's doors for some exciting internship opportunities, because the vision of she-commerce is not only to inspire, but also to see as much as possible we create opportunities for women in particular to come experience, be a part of different kind of setups. So thanks a lot for that, Nikita. We have got a lot of applications, right? Before the session and even during the call, we see a lot of interest. So we will be evaluating all the applications and coming back to the group in terms of who are the lucky shortlisted candidates. And like we promised you last time, we intend to continue with these opportunities either through GIVA, through other organizations, platforms, Myntra. So like we did with Phoenix internship, etc. So this is in continuation of the journey that ShE-commerce has started. So my request is, if for those of you who don't get through, to not be disappointed. We will continue on this path to offer more and more such platforms to as many women as possible. But you have to be a part of the community for us to be able to bring that content information to you from time to time. The second thing is, for those of you who attended our ShE-roes Unplugged last time, we had actually mentioned that some of you will be selected to come and visit Myntra office, a day in the life of Myntra. And we wanted to make it big and exciting. So we took some time to plan for that, but I'm very happy to say that 5 of those participants who were selected last time will be visiting the awesome Myntra office in December, 6th of December. And those of you on the call, if you really want to understand why it is so exciting to visit Myntra office, please follow our Insta handle, I am Myntra. We had a family day last evening, and I'm 100% sure for those of you who follow that handle, you will see such exciting stuff we had in office, which will inspire more and more of you to follow ShE-commerce, Myntra, etc. So that's the second piece of information. Third one is, as a part of ShE-commerce initiative, we're also launching mentoring, right? And this is going to be available to every woman out there, whether you're a student who wants to get career guidance, or you're a woman who wants to join a workforce again after a break, or even emerging professional looking for opportunities. With this platform, we'll have leaders from Myntra, leaders from different brands, and even from GIVA. And Nikita has also kindly agreed to offer her support for mentoring, right? So that's another platform, right, where you can get hands-on guidance, especially for those of you who need tips from Nikita in terms of how to establish your own business, how do you do more creative things, right? Now we are giving you the best of the mentors. So do leverage that platform, and for getting more information, join the community. So we are opening up mentoring as an offering for everybody who wants to be mentored from industry experts. So those were the 3 exciting stuff I wanted to share. But before I hand over back to the Aspire for Her team, Nikita, once again, a big round of applause. And everybody on the call, can I see a lot of hearts and claps flowing around, right, in reactions? Because do share your feedback and do spread the word around. But really, really, thanks a lot, Nikita. Means a lot for us to take, that you were able to take out time for this session. So thanks a lot.
Thanks, Hema. I think, I was equally, excited about doing this webinar because the cause was very special. And hats off to you guys for thinking about it and doing this. I mean, it really takes a lot to not only start but also continue that. So I really hope you guys continue this. And if I'm able to, help in any way, I'm here.
Absolutely. We are going to lean on that. We have been leaning on you for that, Nikita, and I'm sure I can vouch on you for that. So thanks a lot, Nikita. Over to you, Aspire for Her team. Pooja, Ruchita.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Hema, Nikita, and the entire Myntra team. The association has been great till now, but we have, like I said, many more great things to achieve with this continued relationship. This is one more step forward. Now we have our entrepreneurs, like we lovingly call them, the women entrepreneurs, also coming in and actually talking to the community and guiding them. We've had the Myntra leaders come in. We have TEDx speakers coming in. We have specialists coming in. So yeah, I would request anybody, if you want to get in touch with us. I've shared a couple of links in the chat. We'll send them to you via email as well, with a couple of other exciting stuff also that Aspire for Her is planning that the community can benefit from. So do stay in touch, get in touch with us. You can follow us also, Aspire for Her page as well, for any kind of questions. The team is available here. With this, over to you, Ruchita and Madhura.
I think today Madhura is, yes, over to you, Madhura.
No, thank you so much. I think this is absolutely brilliant and exactly what we had thought of for ShE-commerce, which is that we will celebrate not just employment, but also entrepreneurship. They are 2 equal pillars of the ShE-commerce community. And today I was so inspired with Nikita's story. And Nikita, love the products, and you can make sure that, you will be getting a lot of orders from all of us. So beautiful, beautiful products, and very nice to hear about your own inspirational journey. I love the fact that we had Emma and we had our partners from Atypical Advantage who also joined us here. So I'm hoping that many of them will get great jobs. And I would like to take inspiration from Emma here and just do this. Emma, I hope I'm doing it right in ISL. Yeah, is that right? Thank you so much. Just wanted to clap and show my appreciation for everybody here, and definitely the wonderful Myntra team, Hema, Sonora, all of you have been amazing, and the great idea that you all came out with to talk about GIVA and give opportunities to young freshers. I think fantastic. Nikita, thank you for leading the way. And we hope that there'll be many, many more entrepreneurs like Nikita who will come forward and also hire women and ensure that the women's economy becomes as vibrant as ever. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. A very good evening to all of you, and we will stay in touch for much bigger and better things. And get in touch for anything any questions that anyone has. I have put the connects there. You can write to the team. You can join the Telegram group. You can put your message there, and one of us will get in touch with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.